Hi, I'm Isabel. I Can Relate is a podcast by teens, for teens, and about teens. It is made possible by the generosity of Lisa McCares. Lisa McCares is a nonprofit coalition organization focused on promoting healthy behaviors and activities for youth and families. I Can Relate is produced by Fredcast. Think, speak, act.
Welcome back to I Can Relate, a podcast for teens, by teens, and about teens. I'm Ellie, and I'm a senior.
I'm Isabel, and I'm a freshman.
And today we have a special guest joining us. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Erica, and I'm a board member.
So, Isabel, do you want to talk about why we invited Erica here today?
We invited her to talk about, explaining what the school board is and what they do in our community, and especially about what Erica's been doing on the school board, because she's been doing some great things.
Yeah, she has. So before I really got to know Erica, I didn't know a lot about what the school board entailed and what they really did. I mean, what do you think, Isabel, as a freshman? What does the school board do?
If I'm being honest, I feel like from my point of view, all I know about the school board is this probably isn't true, but they just boss people around and they tell people what to do and they just make all the decisions for our school. And when I picture them, I picture a bunch of men in suits, just all set up at a table, just looking really intimidating.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I mean, Erica, what do you do?
Well, that's a great question. And I think you're right. Isabel, most people don't know what school boards do and what their roles are. And I've actually, I've been on the school board for a year now, and I've learned a lot about what school boards do. Their main goal and focus is really to govern what happens in the district. We create policies, and we help with budgets for the district. And really, we want to make sure that we have things in place, programs, initiatives, policies in place that will support our students and support our staff in our schools. Mm-hmm. So that's really the dumbed down version, if you will, or the layman's version of what we do within the school board.
I think a big misconception is that school board members are a president or a politician, and they're not. They're all parents. I didn't know that.
They're all parents?
They're parents.
What?
Yeah, well, the current board that we have, which boards have elections depending on where you live in the country and where your district is, your school board could have different term limits. So for the school board that I'm on, we have a term of 3 years. So every couple of years, every year though, that means that we get new board members. And so a board member can be a parent, but it could just be a community member. It could be a grandparent. It could be a business person. So really there's no specific
requirements.
Right. You don't have to be a parent. You just have to want what's best for the district, and that's what we hope in all school board members.
I think that kind of brings me to an interesting question about why did you specifically decide you wanted to be a board member, Erica?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. It's interesting because I didn't see board member in my path. It was something that a couple of people in the community approached me about doing, and they're like, we see you standing up for things that you believe in. We see you stepping out and not being afraid, and we need your voice. We need your commitment. And so I thought about it, and I met with my family, met with other people that cared about me, and made a decision to run. And so some of the things that I focused on during my campaign, my big message really was making sure that each and every child had access and resources that they needed to be successful. That was really my stance and my focal point during my campaign.
Yeah.
And then the other pieces of the puzzle for me, I'm a licensed family therapist and a registered play therapist. And so mental health is a big, 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 big thing that I am passionate about. And it's something that I've spent over 20 years focused on. And so I wanted to make sure that we were talking about mental health when it came to our young people and when it came to our teachers, and just knowing that the stress that all of us are facing, but particularly young people, it was important for me to have that as one of my messages for my campaign, and making sure that if I was elected, that I helped to put in place policies and programs that would ensure we're supporting mental health in our schools, and we're supporting emotional well-being, and we're stopping the stigma of talking about mental health, and talking about and reminding people it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to ask for help. What does asking for help look like? You know, who are those safe people? Creating brave spaces where people can be okay being themselves and asking for help. And so those are some things that are important to me. The other piece of the puzzle that I, in terms of campaigning, that was a focal point for me was special education. Special education is near and dear to my heart because I have a kiddo that is dyslexic. And so I had to navigate and advocate for my child as a student in our district, and it was tough. There were moments that were really hard for me, and we came out on the winning side because I kept fighting and pushing and asking lots of questions and advocating and finding outside tutoring. And for me, I'm passionate about that because I want to make sure that, not all kids have a parent that's going to advocate for them, or that knows what it looks like to advocate, or what questions to ask, or who to ask for help, right? And so I think it's really important that we help to streamline that process for individuals that are needing extra supports. And so that's something that I was passionate about during my campaign. And let's face it, our teachers need us. They need us to support them. They need to be paid more money. And so that was another part of my campaign that I really stood firm on. So those are my key points when I think about why did I run. I ran because I believe in our public education system. I'm a product of public education. I grew up with family members that were educators, and so public education is extremely important, and we need people sitting on school boards that believe in public education, that believe in doing the right things for the right reasons, which is for our students, and making sure that our students have exactly what they need to be successful. And I don't know if you're going to ask me this, Ellie,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling you might. So one of the important pieces of my journey so far is making sure that there is a platform for our young people, for our students to have their voice heard. And so that's been one of my passion projects that I've been able to help implement over my first term. So that's exciting too. But
yeah, that is really exciting.
I can keep talking, so I'll stop because I know you have more questions for me.
You've got so many things you're proud of, and like the list is just endless there, I think, and those are some great things. But Isabel, I kind of want to ask you a question. So, Erica, are you still practicing therapy currently?
I am. Well, yes and no.
Okay, but you still have a job outside of school board, right?
I have a job outside of school board, and it's not a clinical focused job.
Okay, gotcha. Isabel, how many hours a month do you think Erica spends doing things for the school board and like the school district?
How many hours are in a month?
Go off a week if you want.
Okay. Maybe like 40 hours.
Maybe like 40 hours a week, like a
Yeah.
full-time job. Erica, do you know how much you spend roughly?
I have no idea. And every board member is different, right? Like I've made a decision that I really want to be an active school board member. And that means more than just going to the meetings, right? Because we do have one regular meeting a month, and then we also have a work session. Twice a month we have work sessions. And so those are the mandatory pieces of the puzzle, right? But really there's so much more. And we're all appointed to committees within the district that we are supposed to be active on as well. And then, so I'm on 3 different committees that meet throughout the month and quarter, depending on what committee it is. And then I do, school visits, which that's kind of something that you're supposed to do. I like school visits, but what I like more is building relationships. And that's the big piece that I don't know, I just love that piece of this role, is building relationships. And so I have just taken upon myself to reach out to different teachers and different organizations when I see they're doing things and they're posting online, and I'm like, oh, that looks awesome. I want to be involved in that. That looks amazing. Let me get in touch with that right person, And so that's been my favorite part about doing being on the school board so far is really just getting in and understanding what really happens day to day in a school. So I volunteered as a nutrition service worker in one of the middle schools. So that was a lot of fun. And right now I've been going every week for the last 3 weeks to one of the high schools who's working on an industrial tech class, who's working on a project, and I've been working on it with them every week. So that's been fun to just see the evolution and just get to know the students. And gosh, the students have so much grace. I just feel so grateful when I'm going to those when I go into that class, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm doing using this drill or using this. So they're teaching me a lot, but just opportunities that I'm getting to really be involved in all the things that are happening in our schools. And there are some amazing things happening in our schools. We have incredible staff that are dedicated and care about our students. We have incredible students, which I'm looking at 2 of them right now. I'm just so we have such great students, and so that's been great. How many hours? That was the original question. So this is what happens when I talk about things that I'm passionate about. I don't know how many hours. I will tell you, let's see, on Saturday, let's just say this past weekend. So Saturday I had an event to go to that was maybe, 3 hours on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I made it to there's 3 high schools here. And so I made it to each high school. They had their robotics programs were having open houses. So, I made it to each open house and probably spent an hour and a half at each one. So, that's just a weekend. But, and then throughout the week, I'm probably spending a couple of hours each day, focus on school board stuff. And that just depends on the week. So on board weeks, on board meeting weeks, it's probably more. I think, I don't know if I told you this, Ellie, but in one of our last board meetings, we were there until, actually the last 2. The last one we were there till about midnight, and the one before that we were there until about almost 1 a.m. So it's a lot of time. I don't know. I haven't really sat down to
count your hours.
Yeah. Right? But but the thing is what drives me is doing what I love and really trying to make an impact, and also letting the students and the teachers know that I'm here for them. This is about service, and that's one of the things that I value just as an individual is serving my community. And so going back to the question you asked me about why I decided to do this, I love serving my community, and I think that that's an important part of who I am as a person and what I value. And so I feel like thinking about the school board is really another part of serving my community in a meaningful way. So,
yeah. I know Isabel and I talked a little bit before you came in, and we were talking about, why students, don't help or previously didn't help, influence policy and things like that. Because we spend 8 hours a day at school, right? So, yeah. Isabel, do you want to ask her about student voice?
Oh. So What have you done to help the students have a voice?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Students, like you said, Ellie, you guys spend the most time in the school other than the teachers, right? So, and that's basically your job right now. So your student voice is the most important voice that we have, to understand what needs to be different and what you're needing and what the policies even need to be. We need to be listening to the students and the teachers, obviously, that are in the day-to-day grind of being in the schools. And so for me, student voice was extremely important for us to create a policy so that we can hear directly from the students. Because it's one thing to, yes, go to the building principal or talk to the teachers or do a community survey. Those are all great ways of getting information. But if you want the information that you're truly seeking, which is understanding the student experience, then you have to go to the students. Mm-hmm. And so me and some of my fellow board members, this was a passion project of ours of like, hey, we want to hear directly from the students. What does that look like? And we decided me and one other board member created the policy around student representatives and kind of created a process by which we would elect, interview and elect, if you will, student representatives that would represent their schools. And so that's one of the things we've done, and we're super excited. It's a pilot program right now. It's this is the inaugural program. So we're working out all the growing pains of that, but just excited to have that as a portion of what we're doing within the school district and at the board level is being able to hear from students.
I think that's great work, and I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. We can't vote, but we can definitely use our voices, and that's so important. So, we're almost out of time. Isabel, what have you learned about what the school board actually does now?
I've learned, that the school board, it doesn't just, tell people what to do. It is a group of people that get information from their peers and the students and the teachers and try to do what's best for us, and they work on just taking care of us and giving us a safe community and resources and all those good things that we were talking about.
All right, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast. So thank you so much for joining us, Erica. We had a great time talking.
Thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
Thank you for coming.
All right, thanks for listening to I Can Relate.